Welcome to the Sci-Fi Book Project, Part 6. In this tutorial we're going to cover effects, lighting effects, smoke, and fire. So ultimately, again, our goal here is to create an entire book layout. So the comp that I'll be doing will be in the landscape here. And I wanted to share with you that, from previous tutorials, that I had moved from here to here. And the reason why is I expanded the bottom through the image canvas size category. So if you go to image, go down to canvas size, basically then you can type in a value here of like a height of like 16 or something like that. I believe I typed in 16. And then if you click on here, the top widget here, click OK, it'll expand the canvas size at the bottom. Then you can have more room. And the reason why I did that is for the lighting effects, because you don't want these effects to go down, and get cropped, because they usually have fades on them. So that's the issue. So again, you could always scale down your whole scene or wait to the effects until you bring it into the final landscape. I decided to do it in here and with a great background and show you how we go about this. So open up this folder here called the whole sci-fi vehicle effects, and then there's a whole folder here called effects that I actually applied. And some of these come from textures.com, which has under the FX category here some nice effects you can download for free. You can only get like 10 effects per day, I believe it is, 10 or 12. So when you click on fire, there's actually fireworks and smoke, which are other cool effects. And some of those are in here that I actually use. So I'll turn off the light effects here and turn on the layer with fire, and show you how basically this is done with the fire and smoke. So basically, if you have a layer like here, all you have to do is change it from the blend mode normal to screen, and that will get rid of the black essentially. And so then the fire, and all I did was duplicate it over and over, a couple of times here. So fire is pretty easy to do if you want fire to be coming out like this. I added a mask here. The mask, basically, if I hide it, kind of, you can see what happens. The fire goes up past the jet thrust. So that's one option. The other option you can do is add some smoke and some spark. So smoke, again, is on its own layer. And again, on the blend mode's changed to screen. Here is on normal. This is what it would look like here. And I switch it to screen. And then I added a mask. So without the mask, you can see it's got a little bit more of it. So I just added a mask and painted out area. And you've seen that before. Then the sparks is another effect. And again, here it is with the full effect. And if I go back to normal blend mode, it looks like this. So basically, just take that photo, switch it to screen, and then you can mask off whatever parts you want. I thought just a little bit less would be kind of nice. It works pretty good with the glow effect here, lighting effect, and I'll show you how to do this with the paint. And a little bit of smoke I thought looked pretty good too. So those are the three effects that I kind of combined together. So on this other layer, this lighting effects layer, I have some other effects. I have sort of a glow in around the inside of the sort of cockpit here. I thought it'd be kind of funny to have like this area where basically it's like he's got like a force field where the broken glass is, and I couldn't help myself but create a Cylon little red light there. And then on another layer here, I have some additional effects of the glow of the engine here. But basically, these lighting effects are very easy to do. Basically, all you have to do is choose paintbrush, and in your brush, choose a soft brush, basically, is what you want. And then you just have to increase the size quite a bit, usually to start off. And you want to drop the opacity quite low, like around 20 or 30%, usually. And then you have to change the blend mode. So the blend mode could be color dodge or linear dodge add. I'll show you color dodge first. They both have a very similar effect. I think sometimes color dodge works better. But basically, I can sample a color here, and let me open up color picker here, And basically, let's move up a little bit here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to expand my brush a little bit, and I'll make another kind of sort of thruster coming out from down below here. So again, I'm just barely tapping it with a stylus and kind of letting it blend out, essentially. So I'm getting kind of like a fade sort of quality of this. And then if I shrink down the brush, then I just make it a little bit more intense. You'll start to see it glowing as I go over it more and more and more. And linear dodge add has a stronger effect than the color dodge, but they both basically do the same thing. As you add more, it starts to glow more and more. And you can go in here and pick a lighter shade of color, and it will be a stronger glow to start off. But it's kind of cool to slowly build it up, and then you can fade it out, wherever you want. But that it's pretty easy to do. So if I want to have more of this kind of glow effect inside the cockpit here, let me see. I'll select. Let's see, this sort of green color. And then with this one, what I did is I shrunk down my brush really small, and I actually increased the smoothing from 10% to, like, I don't know, ramped it up close to 100, just so it was easier to follow a line here and kind of create this sort of outline around the rim. So I just kind of went around it like that. And as I go over, it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter, essentially. Again, the idea here is like it's a force field, like if this was going out in outer space. And then what I do is I expand the brush and then just barely tap a couple times to get some of the glow effect to kind of go off, as if the lights are penetrating and creating the shield. And so it's pretty easy to do. Pretty much the blend mode does all the work with a little bit of stylus. So any kind of effect, any kind of light you want to have, all you gotta do is kind of practice playing around with this sort of quality of going back and forth between the brush, expanding it open, and then shrinking it down, and just going back over it, several times. So again, here's the sort of force field one. Another little area, pretty easy to do. And again, if I kept going over and over and over, it get brighter and brighter and brighter. So if I focus on a little area here, you can see it starts to get really bright along there. So any kind of engine thing, like say there's a engine glow, like there's a little bit of blue here. So maybe the engine here has like this blue, and there's like glowing little bits. This stuff's kind of the fun part, because you basically just have fun kind of painting in little colors. It's like little LED lights, and basically just shrink them down and keep painting away until you get a little glowing spot. And then expand it, and as you paint, basically get this idea like it's glowing. So I'm going to just tap it around the outside edge, and because my opacity is low, it builds it up slowly. So 22% is where I'm working at right now. And so I can shrink in the middle here and kind of get this glowing light, and then just kind of expand it again and get the fade to happen. So very easy to do. It's really nice against dark areas, so that's where like the engine light, the jet thrust over here. I'll have some over here perhaps on this side. Just kind of build it up. I'm going to reduce the smoothing. I don't need to have that cranked up anymore. Some more free form. And so I could have like the little bit of glowing light coming through here. And again, the smaller the brush you have, the more concentrated, the quicker it's going to get to that glow. So if I want like this effect of like energy building up, but then if I want to spray it out a little bit, again, increase the size of your brush and tap a couple times, and you'll get this effect. Nice thing about that is I could like tap underneath and get like this blue to kind of, really glow out in other areas and get this feeling like it is energy, shooting out. So that's pretty much all you gotta do. Pretty easy to do. Let's zoom out here and check out the work. So, and then, I could add smoke and sparks and continue to build it up. Basically, I don't want 4 thrusters, eventually one more here and one be hidden behind. That's kind of unique. But I'm pretty much done with the overall painting of the ship, so I'm pretty much ready to start to composite and bring it into the landscape here. And then eventually we'll get to bring it into the cover design. So in the next tutorial, I'll start working on compositing in here and talk about how to do shadows and really start to bring it together. So until next time, see you soon, and Adobe Photoshop. Cheers.